To begin judging an event, you go to the main menu on the iPad and you click on the Judge link. Once you get to the Judge link, if you have already registered in the system, either at this tournament or at a previous tournament, you should be able to find your name within the registered judges. We're going to use Ken Lentz as the registered judge, but if you don't find your name, you could always just add your name here, first and last name, and proceed. But we're going to proceed as though Ken has already judged an event in this tournament, and Ken is already set up in the system. So we click proceed. The next thing you need to do is you need to pick the ring and the event that you're going to be judging at. We're going to stay in ring 2. We're going to judge event W17, 7 and under, blue to green belt, boy and girl. We're going to enter as the center judge, which would will let the scorekeeper know that you are in fact, which one of the judges is the center judge. And once we get to that point, we're just going to hit proceed. What we see now on the screen is we see a number of participants that the scorekeeper has already checked into the event. And what that means is they've taken roll and they've clicked on the scorekeeper iPad that these 5 people, Elisa, Cruz, Chana, Damien, David, and Jesse, are in fact present and lined up and ready to begin. Now, there's nothing we can do on this screen at this point because the scorekeeper hasn't started the event yet. But some of the options that you'll have, if you go into an event and it's the wrong event, you can always back up out to the event selection screen, and in this case it was the correct event, so we'll go back in. Let me go back in and make sure I mark myself as the center judge. Okay, or you can back all the way up to the main menu. But the scorekeeper has everybody lined up and everybody's ready to start, and they've all bowed in, and we're ready to begin the process of scoring this event. Now, once the scorekeeper starts the event, you can see that now an action button has appeared in the left-hand column. Now, this is the order that the participants have been scrambled by the system to appear. Now, as the center judge, I could make a determination, and I could ask the scorekeeper to move Elisa to the top and move Jesse down one. I can change this order after the random scramble has occurred, but in this case, we're just going to leave it the way it is. Now, the way the scoring works, as in all tournaments that have weapons or kata or non-fighting events, form-type events, what we do as the individual participants come up and perform their event, we rank them. In this case, we have 5 competitors. We will progressively rank them as they appear, either first place, second place, third place, fourth place, or fifth place, again, depending upon how many have appeared before them. This is a standard way of ranking in a form-type event. And so we're going to start. Jesse has come up, and Jesse has performed her kata, and you're going to go in and you're going to rank her. Now, since Jesse McDonald is the first participant, the only rank available to you is 1. She's first place because she's the only one so far. So you're going to save that, and now she is ranked as number 1. The next person comes up, and it's Elisa, and she doesn't do quite as good as Jesse. So when she comes up, you're going to be able to rank her either 1 or 2. So we're going to rank her as second, leaving Jesse as the best competitor we've seen so far. And as you can see, it maintains these ranks. Now, let's say that David comes up. David comes up, and we're going to rank David. We like what David did. We like what David did better than any of the other ones. So we're going to go in and we're going to rank David as number 1. So we go in and we rank David as number 1. And what we'll see is it automatically adjusts the other participants. In many cases, this would have been done on a piece of paper. You would have crossed out the number 1 that was next to Jesse and put a number 2. And you would have crossed out the number 3 that you had next to Elisa and put number 2 that was next to Elisa and put number 3. But the system does that for you. As soon as you rank somebody higher, it moves everybody that was already at that rank or lower, moves them down. So now we're going to place Damien. We didn't like Damien as much, but we did like him better than Elisa. So we're going to give him 3rd place, and we can see that moves Elisa to 4th place. In all cases, the judges, each judge will rank differently than you, and we're going to see how that plays out in the end. And finally, Chana comes up, and Chana, we're going to rank her as number 5. We're going to catch the other judges up so we can see how this all plays out in the end. All right, so now we have everybody ranked. Everybody has come up. All the judges have entered their scores or entered their ranks. And we're going to show you quickly how that appears on the scorekeeper. And so this is a scorekeeper screen. The scorekeeper is seeing the rankings from all of the judges. In this case, here's your ranking as the center judge, Ken Lentz. And he also sees the rankings of the other judges, and they say they all done. Now, the final step for a judge in scorekeeping is now we have to give a point value rank to our number 1 participant. And so that's basically entering the 1st place score. Our 1st place participant, as we ranked him, is David. So we click on this and it says, okay, what score do you want to give David? Now, since this is a color belt, the highest score a color belt can achieve is 90. If it was a black belt, the highest score that they could achieve would be 100. Traditionally, what we give the highest, the best competitor is an 89, but if we didn't like the whole group as a whole, we could actually put any score we want between 90 and so anything lower. So we're going to leave David at 89. So we're going to save David as 89. And so what we see is it takes David and it gives him an 89, and then it finds the number 2, which in this case was Jesse, and it scores Jesse as an 88. It scores Damien as an 87, Elisa as an 86, and Chana as an 85. If we're happy with our scoring, we could go back in and adjust that if we wanted to. We go back into the 1st place score. But we're happy with our scoring. We just click Close Scoring. Now, I'm going to bring the scorekeeper screen back in real quickly. And what we can see is the other judges have already closed their score. So they've had their particular ranks, and they've put the 89. They've given the 89 to their number 1, and it is subsequently adjusted all the other participants in the increments based upon how they were ranked. Now, once we finish our scoring, we're the final judge in this case to finish our scoring, to close our scoring. We close our scoring, and what happens is the rank now is adjusted based on all of the ranks that based on the scoring being added together by this system, which normally would be done by a scorekeeper if we didn't have this system. And this is the final order. So David is going to be the winner. And David was our number 1 pick. David's going to be the winner. The 2nd place trophy is going to go to Damien, even though Damien was our 3rd place, being indicated here by the 87 on his score. But when all the scores for all the other judges were factored in, this is the final ranking based on all the scores. Now we see an interesting thing up at the top under the score column with Jesse. Based upon the logic in the system, adjusting for errant scorekeeping, if you will, there's a couple different ways the system can be configured, but in this particular case, for the Red Dragon Karate system, which this tournament represents, any score that is greater than or less than 2 points off the middle score. The only other option is in configuring the system is 2 points off the middle score or 2 points off the middle judge. In this case, it's the middle score. Any score that is greater than 2 points off the middle score is adjusted up or down so that it is only 2 points off the middle score. In this case, we ranked Jesse number 2 in our ranking, and gave, so that, and then in giving David an 89, that automatically gave Jesse an 88 for us. But the middle score, if we bring back in the scorekeeper, we see the middle score was an 85 because the other two judges, AJ and Adam, scored Jesse as an 85. So since we scored Jesse as an 88, Jesse's score was adjusted for us to an 87. So all of this is done immediately upon the final judge closing out their scoring. All right, now we have everybody ranked up. We'll bring them up. The scorekeeper will stand them up. They'll call forward in the order that they participate. Jesse will be called forth first, and his scores, normally used with flip charts, will be brought forward. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to click on the show button, and it will bring forth our score, and it will show 987. So we have Jesse as a 987. Okay, as a 987. Elisa is 86. If I show Elisa at 86, it shows as 986. I come back, I could show David. David's an 989. And so now, rather than using the flip charts, all the paper is eliminated by the system, and we can show the individual scores by just lifting up our iPads. It's that simple. There's nothing more at this point for the judges to do. The scorekeeper, once everybody's called forward and the winners are announced, simply ends the session, and we move on to the next event, in which case we would just go back to event selection, and then now our next event would be K20, and we would proceed with that event.